Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the fourth ever live stream of Rebel Radio. This is a live stream representing the Alliance in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Join me, Pilar, Ethien, Sleepybear, and sometimes Fear. And
welcome to Cantina Vizsla. For the safety of the bartenders and any other patrons, remember to keep all arms, legs, tentacles, or any other extremities you may have to yourself at all times. So come right in, grab a drink, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Coming to you from the panic room in the crap part of the cantina, I'm Sparrow, and with me, as always, is a man who some say knows the question to the ultimate answer of 42. All I know is I call him Stan, where the hell are we? Where did you bring me?
Well, it's a long story, man. The answer to the 42 is obviously tacos. So I had this line on some really awesome taco trucks, and we ended up on Rebel Radio.
Oh, okay, but why out of the panic room? I'm really confused. I mean, had all this, the intro played, I'm supposed to talk, I'm supposed to be in the panic room, I am outside. There's neon lights. There's burning. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. We're really nervous here.
Embrace the light, the lack of dampness, and just go with the flow.
Okay. I mean, I'll trust you here. I'm not 100% on board with this, but let's go here.
You're safe. You're safe here.
So everybody, please welcome Stan and Sparrow. Stan and Sparrow are part of our Alliance cluster, and they also do a podcast, which we're going to be sharing the links to. And of course, you can always check them out on thealliancegaming.com. But we wanted to get them in on this Darth Revan conversation that we're about to have. So we're really excited to have some extra guests today.
Thanks for having us.
What are we talking about again, Pilar? What are we bringing up? Sleepybear, what's the point of this show?
Well, the point of our whole show is just to talk about things that we love about this game, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. We like to try and cover changes in the meta that's coming up, special events that are coming up, everybody's favorite topic of mods. So let's jump on over and talk about some of the meta changes that are happening.
Before we start, you said everybody's favorite topic, mods. Mods are not. Let's be fair. Mods are not my favorite thing in the entire game.
I was gonna say that sounds like very much like Stan and I's philosophy. We go through, look at them, change them because we have to, and then they are set and they sit there.
Yep.
Everybody's like, you should remod before territory wars, and I'm like,
yeah.
I love mods.
Math is great that one time when you set up the character.
That's about it for me too. All right, back to where we were. What's happening today, guys?
Where were we? Well, so I think the main point of the conversation today was Darth Revan, right? So we want to talk about the meta changes. We're going to talk a little bit about mods for Darth Revan, but upcoming special events and changes, Darth Revan's coming. And then other than that, if you have not started raid simming, you should. We've crunched the numbers, and yeah, you should be raid simming. It just boils down to it's better for your guild, and what's better for your guild is better for yourself because territory war and Grand Arena and stuff like that. So it just works out math-wise. So moving past raid simming, Sparrow and Stan do a really good job of like planning out the week and recapping the past and talking about Star Wars stuff on their podcast. We're not going to talk about any of that on our show. So we're just going to dig deep into Revan.
That's right, all the stuff we're good at. Just throw it up.
Darth Revan, new number, who dat?
Yeah, new phone, who dis?
I think Stan's got Darth Revan, right?
Yeah, I do. Got him right here. Just have not unlocked him yet. He is not ready to go. That was my bad joke for the night, or at least the first one.
He can even put him on Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
Yeah, I could.
Put on top of your phone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, do you open that? Will you open that box, or does that like?
Some
away
of them
from
I
the-
open kind of depends on the way the value goes for him. He's actually been dropping lately, so I'll probably end up opening him up and begging him together with my other figures. But
Nice.
he's in the box for now.
So
Right on.
my dad's a huge collector, and like every once in a while he'll pull me into his office where all of his toys are, of like statues and figures and personal drawings and all this kind of stuff, and he'll like point at the stuff that is extremely important in monetary value, and his thing is like, don't let your mom sell this at a garage sale when I die, kind of thing. um, But every once in a while, I get a little bit too drunk at a family party, and I joke about the fact that it's like a Darth Helmet moment where he's like doing "No, Princess Vespa," like is that how you play with your toy stand?
Oh man, that's exactly what I was thinking too.
No, well, again, I have collections. I have my own stuff, so I'm not judging
Yeah.
Stan. I'm not a crazy collector. So, all right, Darth Revan. We did our best to parse the numbers. Like, we are so famous in not being able to do very well. But we kind of wanted to go down, not like the breakdown of every ability, but like a little bit of that, but more like the theory crafting behind it. So Sleepybear set up a beautiful montage. Is that the right word for it? No, like a video thing that you all can watch as we go. So if you haven't heard, there is very specific characters needed to unlock. And we're going to go through the synergies, the abilities, all that fun jazz. But essentially, he's the new meta. That's kind of what it boils down to, right, guys?
Yeah, so with the
Yeah, looks like it.
we could also maybe talk about what other characters besides Darth Revan are going to work with him. Like, there's talk about using Sith Trooper, there's talk about Sith Marauder, which probably no one's ever farmed ever or even thought about. There's talks about maybe using them with Trey, maybe not. There's HK. So there's a lot of talk out there about which characters to use. So I think maybe that might be a good topic to start with.
I'm not gonna
Okay.
unlock in this go.
Pilar no get.
Pilar, no, get this go. No.
Pilar needs your $100 donations to unlock Darth Revan. Please, Kate, thanks.
Yep.
Bye.
My email, my PayPal account will be posted. No, not this time, but that's okay because the next time I'll have him and I'll be ready to go. That's good.
For sure. All right, so just a quick recap of the abilities that Sleepybear is showing on screen before we jump into all the different characters. His basic gives buff immunity. It also gives buff immunity to the leader of the team. So obviously, like, it's a designed Jedi Revan counter. His special one is an AoE shock. And then it applies his new team buff, heavy air quotes on the buff on that because it's actually a debuff, but it boosts his team, and that's what he's all about. His new quote unquote buff. His second AoE is the fear. It's a little bit different than Bastila's current ability, but it's kind of like a pseudo stun with some other cool effects to it. His team is immune to turn meter reduction almost always. They start debuffed, and so therefore they get bonuses when debuffed, and they all start debuffed. So this team is going to come out the gate with 15 speed and 10% critical chance, times 5 if you're running a Sith Empire team. So 75 speed bonus right out the gate. So it's going to be a very fast team. The other bonus besides that is a critical damage bonus, and then the leader gets death marked whenever you drop somebody to 50% health, meaning this guy is designed to kill leaders, right? He's got 2 uniques: defense penetration. He dispels foresights. His team is immune to ability blocks and stuns. He is immune to all assists that go and target him, so he just says, no, you cannot assist when attacking me. And then he's also got finally another unique. He gets a free basic whenever he uses an ability on his own turn, so that holds buff immunity and buff immunity on the leader. He uses fears targets to they force them to cleanse their own debuffs. He's got extra hit point, or he's got a heal whenever he drops below 50% health, he health balances with the highest health person. There's a lot of clarification needed on a lot of these things still, so we're asking CG about those. We recommend like really reading up on his kit, because a key to this game is knowing what every character does. But let's talk about what the other characters do with him and kind of how the team works out. So, Stan or Sparrow, can you tell us what he's going to do with Bastila?
No, I wasn't ready.
No, that's okay. I don't know. I was just calling somebody. Pilar, you're up. Go. She's not ready either.
Sorry. Hey,
It's all good.
hold
I
on
don't
really quick. Sleepy, everybody's saying you're really quiet and you need to turn your volume up.
I will do that. My mic volume appears to be maxed. I will work on that.
It's your OBS.
Yeah, something's messed up with it.
All right.
Merp. Anybody got the show notes posted? So
What
I
do you
don't
wanna
have
talk
to be on
about?
the talk. Debast.
Yeah.
Dark Bastila.
How D-Bass works with Revan's kit. Basic ability block and damage. I got the notes up. I don't know what to talk about.
Oh, the joys of live streaming.
Sorry, I mean, I could lie and say I read everything, but since I'm not unlocking Revan this go around, I'm kind of feeling meh about it.
Well, you still should know what they're gonna do. So, I think like if you're using Revan against Jedi Revan, you are going to lose. Doesn't matter what you're bringing. Your Jedi Revan will probably still go first, and you will be able to mark somebody, but you're not going to be able to keep your buffs. Revan will die. Things will go very bad for you if you're using the Jedi.
I'm used to it. It's fine.
Bastila is getting a rework. Darkside Bastila is getting a rework. She will still do a basic ability block and damage on her basic. That damage is reduced a little bit if you're using HK because he's not technically a Sith, so that kind of sucks. She's doing the whole shock thing, shock, so that's not really changing. It's really her fear change, that the debuff that she's doing changes from a stun to the whole new fear mechanic. She's buffing Revan, of course, a couple times over, but her big change is when she's with Revan, Darth Revan as a lead, and she gets her corrupted battle meditation debuff on the enemy team. They cannot. So let me phrase this correctly. My Revan team gets corrupted battle meditation on your team. Your team cannot apply debuffs to me. Period. You cannot. We're getting clarification on, does that apply to Fracture? Does that apply to Mark? Does that apply to Plague? But for long and short of it, if your Bastila goes first and lands corrupted battle meditation, you're not getting debuffs. So if it's a Revan mirror match, the person with the faster Bastila wins.
I would assume it's going to be all debuffs that aren't locked debuffs. So Mark, Fracture, Plague would still apply, but everything else wouldn't.
As long as CG doesn't have any bugs in it, right?
Well,
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't happen.
It doesn't really matter what happens. The arena just crashes.
Why hasn't the event been released yet?
Because of Stan, obviously. He's too OP.
Damn, Stan.
I was too confident in my date prediction. And I'm like, nope.
Yeah, that's what it was. They're like, these guys on this random podcast here predicted the date a month and a half ago. So obviously we got to move it.
I mean, you were like spot on for 99% of your predictions over the last couple predictions. So
Yeah, you guys have been.
You're fortune tellers of the calendar.
The tinfoil hat. Dan goes through and holds up the cats and was like, "What are we seeing here?"
Well, Sparrow, you were worried about the difficulty event, but they're giving you a little bit extra time, right?
Yeah, I'm actually very close now as far as just with that little bit of extra time. Basically, I'll have everybody at gear 10 -1 stun gun right now is the way it's looking. So I'm in a good spot as far as gear goes, and farming wise, I'll have to go through and basically buy 25 shards worth of Karth, and that should get me enough to get Darth Revan, or at least I'll have all the characters at 7 stars to be able to at least try. So I'm feeling pretty good about that.
Nice. And Pilar, did you even get a chance to farm these characters, and you're just running out of time, or you just could not focus on them?
Yeah, I have Juhani and Karts sitting at 6 stars and 5 stars right now. The rest of them, HK, Vizsla, Canderous, they're all at 7 stars. But
so you're
I'm not
you're probably
terribly far
$100
off,
away.
but
You're basically like 2 weeks.
Gear wise, it would probably be a loss just because I wouldn't be able to gear them up past probably 7.
I'm excited because I zated the frick out of Karth and and Juhani. I did not do Candy.
Any Zetas yet?
No.
But I've
got this.
4, I think, stored, and more on the alt. The alt account, which is what's showing up right now. I think I've got 5 Zetas saved, but the shard farm is a little further off. On my main account, I just got Juhani to 7 today, and need 25 shards for Karth, and then everybody else is at 7. And they're all at gear 11 except for Canderous, who's at gear 8. So I'm hoping that's good enough, but I don't know.
Stan, you're like ready, right?
Yeah, I'm ready. I got them. Yeah, 7 stars last week. I went hard early, just buying packs. I could have saved those crystals, but like I said, it's freed me up to focus on the true meta. I've got B28 to 7 stars now, so
nice.
I'm ready to go. Yeah, unless they just really amp the gear requirements up. I'd love to see that data too. I know they've got it somewhere. They know how many people will unlock it this day, how many more people are going to unlock it at this day, how much money they're going to lose. Are they going to try to make it up on the gear? That stuff interests me. So I'd like to see if that decision was made somewhere.
I'm sure there's analytics going on, and that's probably what they're working on right now, is tweaking the difficulty of the event itself of gear requirements, because it's like
right.
They said their wording in the post, it was like the extremely difficult event or something like that.
Well, it just did a very difficult event, but it was interesting because SB Crum has come out with a post from before saying basically definitions on legendary events, heroes journeys events, and everything else on where the difficulty should lay. And legendary events, he actually did come out and say they should be basically gear 11 was going through, and he actually specifically said journey events would be basically based on gear in which the shards would be more difficult to acquire than anything else as far as the event goes, and expect it to be more at gear 9, roughly 9-10 area.
Yeah, but that's before they invented ancient journeys, right?
Well, no, that was right when they came out with the ancient journey events, because that's where it came into. And then the post the other day from CG Carey, she specifically listed this journey event.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, when you go through and look at the Jedi Knight Revan event, the ancient journey event, yeah, it might have been set for gear 9, but man, no one used gear 9 characters for that. They had gear 12 Bastila just walk through with gear 6, 7 characters. So I think they're basically just tuning it up where you actually have to have all the characters up in that 9-10 area rather than one overpowered character with a leader ability that makes it possible, or just spamming mission speed.
Similar to, which was it, CLS's event of not every character is required for each step, and that's one way where they can tweak it of, okay, because I had a gear 11 Bastila, and I think I had a level 1 gear 1 mission, and Zalbar, and I got Jedi Knight Revan.
Yeah, the other way I could see people getting around that was basically just having everybody at 6 or 7. If you actually match mission speed with the Tarantetic, you can put blind every time the Tarantetic tries to attack and never hits anybody and survives. So there were very easy ways to get around that event. So I think they're kind of balancing it out where you have to have a whole team geared up at that 9-10 area rather than just the one that we were running into last event.
Yeah, one thing that kind of scares me on this one is they mentioned how it will be beyond what we've seen before, and most of us think it means cutscenes. And man, if it's anything like that Chewy event, I do not want to watch a 30-second cutscene every time I retry one of
Oh,
these
that was
levels.
terrible. I don't disagree with you on that.
That's
It's
why
like
I enjoyed my Gear 12 boss. I went through, waited, got Gear 12 boss, had him in there, and just went in, I think, twice, and went through. And I'm like, yeah, that would be really annoying if I had to go back into this one.
That was like
Oh,
2 days of that for me, and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
I think CG is like relearning all the lessons of video games as a video game company. It's like, it's like, oh, we need a skip button for our cutscenes. That was like 1998 that they
Right.
invented that. Like, I love their cutscenes. 42 times, a little excessive kind of thing.
A little bit.
I was helping guildies by running their accounts to try and figure out Chewbacca, and I'm like, okay, I can't stand this anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Rabbit hole noise, because that was not what we were talking about. But that's okay. Yeah, thank you.
I love that. That's fine. You're gonna teach me how to do that, and I'm just gonna mash buttons from now on in our live
Yeah.
show.
We'll have it in our show eventually, but I don't know. We just keep Sparrow coming back. Okay, so we know Revan is a game changer. We know Bastila is needed for the team. HK is like a powerhouse in damage with his rework, but he's not really like bringing anything to the team that's game changing. He does increase his own, like he buffs himself a lot with Revan, but he just
Well,
I don't know,
he
like
buffs
it
Revan
doesn't.
too, right? Because I think it's 70% health boost for both of them or something like that.
No, that's Bastila.
Oh, never mind.
HK gets 50% defense, offense, potency, and tenacity on himself. He gains 30% crit avoidance per Jedi, which is excessive to all heck because you need 5 times 30% crit avoidance, right? And then if an opponent has protection up, they do not have the ability to gain a bonus turn meter, or the wording on that was a little bit confusing. They might not be able to gain turn meter, period, which is a little bit broken. So that's one of the ones I was.
I think it did say bonus turn meter.
Okay. I was confused, or am I notes? Anyways, again, that really only applies to Jedi Revan. Is like what teams are rolling deep with bonus turn meter and bonus protection. Like, I don't know. I don't know any other teams.
Bastila.
Oh,
Bastila.
yeah. Well,
Bastila
because
team,
people are
basically
so
anything
running
with
the
Jedi.
Bastila meta.
Well, Territory Wars and Grand Arena, you do see it still quite a bit. So it's not, you may not see it in a arena. So you can't really think of these characters and splitting them up strictly for arena, because that is very, very narrow on what you see in arena anymore. But Territory Wars and Grand Arena, that's a whole different story, and trying to split up these characters to be able to get those plus 60-point wins in Grand Arena is very needed and very crucial. So having HK against the Bastila team could make a big difference in your Grand Arena matchups.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that, like, well, would you save this team to just beat up a Revan team?
I wouldn't, like going through, I was kind of thinking about it on how I would split up the team the way, if I didn't have Darth Revan, let's say, but you have Darkside Bastila and HK, I was thinking as far as the Jedi Knight Revan team, you could take them out with Traya, and Darkside Bastila honestly seems like she got a buff within that team to counter a Jedi Knight Revan team. So that counter seems even better against Jedi Knight Revan. And then when I'm looking at HK, I'm thinking putting HK even against a or in a Jedi Knight Revan team to counter a Jedi Knight Revan also. Just in that fifth slot, just to kind of go through and just start mowing Jedi down.
I guess for me, it's like, I don't know, just like Arena, it's how defensive they are, not how offensive. And I'm thinking that, like, this guy's just going to be a monster to defeat on offense.
I'm not really sure right now without being able to see the kit and how the interactions work between the characters right now on trying to theory craft a counter to Darth Revan is the
I'm thinking
issue.
Treya.
Yeah, I can see Treya. Definitely not CLS.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can
think
see
Treya
ways.
just because he's so debuff heavy, and she's just like, okay, good debuffs, man.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a Treya team actually countering this team, or not Treya team. Sorry, a Jedi Knight Revan team, just because you can go through. You can get Jedi Knight Revan going first and actually targeting someone and knocking out characters real quick, depending on how much offense you have Yoda modded for. You could very much take out a character and be down 4v5, and you take out, like, say, HK right away. Well, there goes a lot of your damage on that team. Good luck trying to take out Jedi Knight Revan. And basically, I'm not sure how well this team's going to hold up on defense, just because you're going to have to go through, and when you're actually targeting everybody, as long as you ignore Darth Revan, you shouldn't have a problem. Now, the computer playing that character, going up against someone, they're going to be targeting Darth Revan all the time, and he's just going to constantly be getting that 50% health, and then it'll equal out and non-stop.
Blocking of assists, because if you attack Darth Revan, you can't assist, so there goes pretty much all of Jedi Knight Revan's damage, because it just calls from calling everybody to assist with Mark, or Jolie's assist, or all the different calling. I mean, that's the big part of that team.
Yeah, so I mean, without seeing, I'm thinking this team on defense isn't going to be great, just because there's going to be ways to get around it just by targeting the getting in the right kill order. Really,
I'm not looking forward to this team at all. I just unlocked Jedi Revan and just poured all of my gear into that team, and now I've got this new team coming out, and man, it seems like it's going to be a difficult.
I feel
you got this. We'll figure it out.
I got this. Don't worry.
I feel your pain.
Lightning round theory crafting.
Well, yeah, that's why I got you.
Let's
Yeah.
Jedi Knight Revan and Darth Revan together.
Yes, exactly. No, lightning round theory crafting. Sith Trooper on the team will start with a huge defensive loss, but Sith Trooper is actually a sneaky hitter in that he ignores protection when he's buffed, and he's almost buffed all the time. And he's got an AoE, and so he's going to have a huge offense boost. So do we put Sith Trooper on the team for the pre-taunt, even though he's not really a good tank? Or do we load him up with offense mods? What do you guys think?
I mean, I think right now you kind of have to add him into the team, because of the other options really aren't there, especially like if we're talking about counters. If you're trying to go through and do a defensive team, you kind of have to have that auto taunt there. Because if you put, say, Sith Marauder and Sith Assassin together with no taunt, like a CLS team with Raid Han, boom, there goes Sith Assassin or Sith Marauder right off the bat. You're down 4v5, and that team kind of falls apart then.
Yeah, I mean, well, Han's going to be able to do that to anybody on this team no matter what, right? But you're right.
Yeah,
then they're
much
stuck behind the Sith Trooper. I don't know. That's where I'm like, maybe if we leave him in, then we just boost the heck out of his offense and actually turn him into like a bruiser.
I'm just looking at this team and like going through. I was like, I can see how it works initially, but how Pilar was talking about, I'm like going through and I'm like, great, I'm gonna be able to get Darth Revan. I don't have Darth Revan geared. I don't kind of have HK geared. Don't have Darkside Bastila geared. Definitely don't have Sith Marauder geared. Don't have Sith Trooper geared. And Sith Assassin? Nope, not that.
Just a whole other team to gear.
Well, that's what they were doing, is they were looking at your roster going, what does he not have? How can we screw him over?
Pretty much. I mean, yeah, my highest gear character is HK at gear 10 right now, so that's going to be helpful.
That's not bad. Well, HK is pretty easy gear, right?
I was actually really proud of myself, because I've had HK at 7 stars since Hat. And for the droid team in phase 3, I think it was.
Phase 2.
Phase 2. I was like, I've got that. I finally have a tune that I don't need to farm for an event.
Yep, that's the only reason my HK gear 10 is from Heroic AAT, phase 2.
Next character, Sith Assassin. We know she's fast, If you make her faster, that's great because she can give everybody turn meter. She's a little bit of damage. And when I say a little bit, she does have a ways to boost that damage, especially that new ability that Sleepybear is showing. But otherwise, she adds like nothing to the team.
Mainly just speed.
Yeah.
And going through and be able to get underneath all the protection, which, I mean, you don't really need in this team, especially if you have some of the other, like HK or Darkside Basilisk in there, in which they're going through preventing turn meter for having that bonus protection.
Yeah. I mean, for Assistant Assassin, it was just really like, this team is all about control, and she doesn't do any.
That's shock.
Is it a shock? The shock's on the... I didn't think electrocute...
I believe she does stun.
But not
I thought
shock,
she had a
right?
shock in there too.
No, that's what I thought too. I was like, oh, another shocker.
But maybe it's on this one.
That's right, the person with Gear 7 throwing out abilities on Sith Assassin.
Jesus, I don't think you have enough Omega, Sleepy.
Yeah.
He's hoarding. It's the alt account.
That it's like I don't have time to.
It's an add-on
do things.
Everything.
So
I'll send some my way.
So Sith Assassin, it speeds the team up. That's what I boiled it down to. What about Sith Marauder? I think it's his time to shine, right?
Yeah. Well,
Who?
he's gonna be. Isn't he like high base offense already?
Yes.
So if you mod him with offense, and then he gets the boost from the special with offense, because he's getting like what? It's 2 or 8% per stack of ferocity or something like that. Or per.
That's 2% offense crit and potency. No, 2% offense crit and crit damage. Maybe I don't know. I need to look it up.
It's right here. Yeah, 2% offense for each debuff on all characters. So that's including your team and their team. So that's
so he's gonna have 25 debuffs off the bat at the very beginning of the fight on your team. 5 stacks of ferocity each, 25 debuffs. So then 25 times 2 is 50% off the bat. All of his starting offense, crit, and the other thing. What's the other thing, Sleepybear? I can't read it.
Offense, potency, crit chance.
Potency, okay. And then he gains turn meter whenever
anybody does an ability outside their turn.
Yeah, so anytime somebody's called to assist or counters, he gets turn meter.
So Mark automatically gives him what?
100%.
100%,
yeah. 100%. General Kenobi on the team with his mass assist, 100%.
CLS, you can force feed him turn meter, that kind of thing. But obviously, like this team is going to be paper thin with all their negative defenses. Like this team has 0 defense essentially.
That's by design. So what they were saying is it's going to sacrifice their defense to become strong hitters.
Strong and fast, really, really fast.
So hopefully this means it's going to be a rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock meta.
I mean, I hope, but right now, so if it beats Jedi Revan and you don't have him, what beats Jedi Revan? And then it just kind of goes back to rock, paper.
Well, I mean, if you go through and look at this, he had Jedi Revan had struggles with Darth Revan. Let's say, I mean, trying to think of who else. Well, Stan would like this. Maybe General Grievous can beat
maybe.
Darth Revan.
I don't know, well, he's got specific. Revan has a specific thing that says target cannot gain bonus turn meter. I forget which, or bonus turns or something like that. And I'm like, okay, does that have to do with like Grievous too? Because I think Grievous just got smacked by him. Yeah, this is like the Lando comeback meta. Drew just mentioned that in my Twitch stream. I believe that this is Lando's time to shine. He just gets to AoE the hell out of this team and laugh as they get debuffed.
Don't joke about stuff like that because like that was like my favorite time to play Arena.
That was your bread and butter. ST Han, man. Feed my Lando turn meter. Okay,
seriously,
Emperor,
don't joke about it.
Emperor goes onto the team. If you sub any one of them out and you throw Emperor on the team, it slows the entire team down. You lose 50% crit damage. Emperor does not get ferocity like the others.
Yeah, because he's not.
He's gonna have
Empire.
He's not Sith Empire. Yeah, he's gonna have stun like he does. he's going to have so many turns from all the shock that this team deals out. There's an AoE shock from Darth Revan. There's a shock from Bastila that can do extra damage, that kind of thing. I feel like Emperor might get a Turpentine moment where like Emperor can just be like, oh, everybody shocked, perfect, turn, as he just starts shooting his lightning out. What do you guys think about that?
I think that would be nice.
Might be part of the reason why it's being delayed.
Oh,
On
yeah.
interactions like that. It has nothing to do with the event, but how some of the other characters are interacting with Darth Revan's abilities.
Yeah. Well, I mean, by design, they made it so Emperor does not work in a mirror match, in that if Emperor stuns anybody on Revan's team, Revan says nope to a stuns and ability blocks. So that goes away. I think Scion on this team is useless in a mirror again, because if the the Bastila puts the corrupt the battle meditation, they can't be debuffed. You can't apply pain. Scion is useless. No pain, no gain. Nihilus, I think, is going to be a monster against this team. The entire Darkseid Revan team starts debuffed. The Nihilus just goes, oh, cool. Here's
Right?
my giant AoE. Increased cooldown and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Everybody does cooldown, then that 50% health equalization doesn't come into play at all either, because Darth Revan or Darth Nihilus will just go through, annihilate, and the team starts falling apart as soon as Darth Revan's out of there.
Yeah.
We were talking about somebody else too earlier. Who else were we talking about? Vader? Were we saying Vader?
Oh, that's on my list. I think Vader on this team is gonna have fun, because he sees, if you're in a mirror match, Vader against this team, I should say, is gonna have fun, because in a mirror match he's like, oh, lightsaber throw, you have 5 debuffs, kind of thing. I think Traya is actually the weird effect where you put her on your Darkseid Revan team and she makes ferocity go away. She cleanses debuffs. So what does that do to the team?
So that wouldn't be a
Is that
good.
ferocity? The ferocity is locked though, isn't it?
I don't know. Does it say unique? I never saw that.
I think it says it can't be dispelled.
Well, I don't know. I didn't read that. Maybe.
Anybody?
But I might be wrong.
Anybody. Somebody find it.
Because I can't
Here,
just load it up here. I could load it up on the browser page though.
I have the kit reveal. Hold on. Ferocity. Can't be copied.
But doesn't say
That's
can't
the
be
word.
dispelled.
It does not say it cannot be dispelled.
Does it?
Yep.
Is it added only for a certain number of turns? How does that expire? Is it
2 turns.
Dispel.
Two
Okay,
turns.
so 2 turns.
You get it at the start, 2 turns, and then every time you can reapply it with his AoE, and then there's another way to apply it if I remember correctly. But
I was looking at the Darth Revan kit FAQ. Darth Traya is on the Darth Revan team. She will cleanse the ferocity debuff. Ferocity is applied before Darth Traya is cleansed. So, yeah.
So she is the opposite version of a Darth Revan team. It's like paper thin, high damage team. As she says, no, we're just kind of a normal team now. Like, I don't know how that works, but it still has all the the rest of the kit versatility, the control. I don't know. I think if she's in a mirror match, I think her being able to isolate is also a huge factor. If you isolate Bastila, does that stop the spread? I've never even tried it on a Darkseid Bastila, but does that stop the spread of battle or corrupted battle meditation? I guess not. You can still apply debuffs while isolated, right? Just not buffs.
I don't know.
What was the question?
If you're isolated, can you debuff something? I think the answer is yes.
Yeah, you can.
So it's just buffs. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you go through and, isolate a character and just basically have them sitting there, not gaining any turn meter, fear wouldn't really apply to them. It basically takes the whole person out of the game.
Well, you're talking about fracture or isolate? Isolate, they still get turns.
Well, but they don't get the bonus turn meter, correct? If I remember correctly.
I got it up here. Isolate can't gain buffs, can't attack or gain positive effects out of turns. Allies can't attack or gain positive effects during this unit's turn, so it does not affect turn meter, does not affect passing out debuffs.
Yeah, because you can like turn meter swap an isolated player, which is just really weird. I thought this one was really funny. So Savage on a Darth Revan team will take all of those ferocity debuffs and suck them over to himself, and he will have 20 stacks of ferocity, and then Savage will hit like a fucking Mack truck. He just probably won't ever get a turn because he'll have so much minus defense. And does defense cap at -0? I don't know if that's in the facts, Dan.
I'm not seeing it.
Oh,
I
we've
would
been asking lots of questions, waiting for our answers, kind of thing.
I would assume it. I assume it does go negative because that's why Jordica broke in the Sith raid, is because they went through and had the
That's right.
speed set at like -2000
Oh,
something.
yeah.
That's why his offense numbers went through the roof.
Yeah, but so like, does defense penetration 100% stack with defense penetration 100%?
Who knows what the way they had to set up the game?
I don't know.
Server crash.
I wish we could see these things. I think Thrawn, Ness, Chewbacca, and Hoda all have a spot on this team in different ways, right?
Wait, you're saying? Are you saying the plug and play characters will work?
Yeah, I feel like they'll still work, right?
That's
I
a
hope
crazy
so.
concept.
So I think that the learnings in the theory crafting was the mirror match is all about your dark side Vizsla. Get her going fast. And if you sub out a character that's not Sith Empire, you lose only 15 speed. I know that's not only 15 speed. If you have a faster dark side Vizsla and you can swap her out for really fast Thrawn, you win, right? Like, you give Vizsla the turn, they can no longer apply debuffs to your team. So if it's a mirror match, swap to Vizsla. Vizsla debuffs everybody. You have control of the game.
Yeah.
Fear.
And similarly, if you can get Nest fast to where she puts
Yeah.
out days on everybody, it slows them down and gives you the buffs because all those debuffs count. So it could
For
still work
Marauder.
there. Yeah, for Marauder.
I feel like Jedi Revan has a place. It's just gonna not be so press auto and win kind of thing, right? So it depends on how the teams are played by your AI.
I mean, Jedi Revan's going to be able to go through and looking at this kit. I think there'll be ways to actually beat the kit on offense and beat the team on offense, but it's no longer going to be, well, I'm not versing Jedi Revan, press auto, and it's an automatic win. It's going to go through and going to be very specific targeting, going through killing one character at a time, and actually, I'm not even sure if it would take the full 5 minutes, but it's going to be close if they start rolling with their damage.
I think Ewoks have a chance, right? You rely on buffs, not debuffs.
Wait, are you being serious?
Yeah.
I
I mean,
think they-
fast Ewoks.
if they're very fast, because they do rely on buffs and they rely on removing turn meter, which is not blocked at all. So they would have to be well geared very fast. But I think they could work.
I think the counter to Ewoks though is the death mark, so you gotta just not. You gotta not have that happen.
What the hell is that?
It's a horse
You brought the horse.
in my house. Yeah, I don't know. I think that there is viable options out there. First Order has a chance, getting out there fast, stunning. It's just not, obviously it's a meta breaker kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's a meta breaker more than a meta balance. Just because I see more counters to this team than I did when Jedi Revan came out. Jedi Revan came out and everybody's like, how do I get around this team? What do I do? And there really wasn't even a viable option until Darkside Vizsla came out and you could load up Traya with defense.
Yeah, arenas sucked for me lately, so that's just one more thing to throw into the whole.
Yeah,
Great. It's gonna be fun.
It might actually be easier for you because people are running Darth Revan and they have a actual counter that you're going through. You can just leapfrog from Darth Revan to Darth Revan. So,
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice.
So it might make it easier if it actually becomes more of a rock paper scissors meta.
Yeah, you mentioned the First Order. I was looking at original Kylo Ren. You know, if he gets ramped up on having debuffs on him, that could be an interesting.
And they're immune to true damage. So even if he gets death mark, he's just like, whatever. He doesn't care that the death mark is hitting him.
Hey, I actually have that character geared up.
It's
the only First Order character I have geared up, but
oh my gosh.
Once again, P1 of the heroic AT. Throw that Zeta and
that meta.
Yep, that was the reason I had the Zeta on there.
Oh
got the
you
guild.
were a hero of the day when you're the first guy to have
Yes,
Kylo get solo phase 1.
That I was. It was me and 2 other people. 3 of us would go through and clear out P1 of the heroic AT. It was an interesting time.
Geez, I'm just now able to solo phase 1.
You'll get there, Pilar. Just bust out that 3PO. That 3PO is the key.
You didn't want to have to go through
Are
with.
you serious? Are you seriously talking about C3PO with me?
Yeah. I have to be mean. We remodded her a couple of times, and she was trying for it. It just didn't work out. Her walks are not that strong yet. Silly walks.
Yeah, I went through and went all in. I went through and I'm like, well, this just gives me a reason to gear up my Ewok. So they're Zeta in gear 12, and now I walk over First Order teams. So I was like, I found a place, and then Grand Arena came out, and I'm like, all right, this played right into it. This is amazing. Ewoks are a fun team. They're worth it.
Well, now I'm farming the right leader. So next time I will unlock.
That's what everybody says. As long as you get it next time, you're fine, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Except you're gonna get it next time, and then they'll have the CLS.
Somebody else, right?
Z3DO counter. All right. Well, let's start to wrap up our show. Starting with Stan's outro for Cantina Vizsla. I think Sleepy, you have the visuals perfect. Stan, tell us about your guys' show and plug your normal outro.
Yeah, we kind of focus on less theory crafting and more of where the game is going, kind of help you plan your farms. You know, not really where the game's at right now, but where it's going to be in 3 months, because, you know, you got to play kind of a step ahead of CG if you really want to, you know, not spend as much money as they'd like you to. But yeah, we do a podcast, try to get it out once a week. We're pretty much on all the podcast servers. You can check us out there. We've got our own Discord server. You can find us on the alliancegaming.com with everybody else. So we really appreciate being on there. And we even have the old-fashioned email, cantinavizsla@gmail.com.
It's not Hotmail?
No, it's not. Find us at GeoCities /41 AOL keyword
0.
Yeah.
I'm about to start up a MySpace account. Don't worry about it.
There you go.
We focus on the future. Check out our MySpace.
Check out my hot or not profile. It's solid 6.2.
In all honesty, I listen to their shows every week, and I really do appreciate it. In fact, for me personally, I really appreciate that Stan plugs like Star Wars, what's going on in the Star Wars world, like the upcoming celebration and what's going on with Disneyland and the cool books that he's reading and all that kind of stuff. It really connects me kind of back to why I love Star Wars, not just this game, but like all the other things. So I appreciate that, Stan. I think everybody who's watching can see the Podbean, and I'm going to try and share in my Twitch stream the link to your guys' show right now.
And we'll also make sure that the link is in the description of our
And
show.
Pilar will upload this, and
I
she'll
will
make sure it's in the
upload
thing.
it. I always like hearing about your week, and I always like hearing about catching up with The Walking Dead. I just love your guys' podcast. I always listen to it. It's great. So if you don't listen to Stan and Sparrow, please make sure that you check in. You can find it on our website.
They're celebrities for us.
They are. They are.
Oh, too kind, too kind.
All right, so Darth Revan next week.
Maybe.
We'll do a video with hopefully some live footage of us kicking ass with Darth Revan. Hopefully Fear will be back next week. And we didn't talk about mods, but we'll save that for next week when we actually know what the heck we're talking about. Because
Mod
maybe
Yeah.
we go all offensive. They finally made it so you don't need speed mods. That's the trick behind this team is you don't need speed because they're 75. I don't know. That's probably not true. Don't listen to me.
Probably not. Yeah.
You
don't
Thanks
wanna
everybody
get
for jumping on. I
the
gotta
kid will
get back to the
change.
kids. I'm signing out.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thanks.